Okay, in this video tutorial, we're just going to look at something quite simple, but something that can save a lot of time, which is what we're trying to help really in terms of workload and, just managing time and making things more efficient in terms of, how you go about your daily routine and so on. So in this case, we're just going to create a letter. Now, it could be an email, it could be something like that, or just some content that you want to generate. So I'm in Copilot, obviously. I've got my creative setting. I've got my prompts, which are already created. I'm just going to pop that in there. So you can see it's about an information evening for year 11. I've given it some basic information, so core subjects will be there, focused on the brain, focused on revision strategies, encouraging parents, and carers to attend the evening, really focusing on, the upcoming exams. I want it set in a kind of a formal tone. I've got the school motto in there as well, which I've made up, and I'll just give it the guidance that I want. So I just set this off. And like anything else, it's just creating a kind of framework. It's getting me started because sometimes it can be quite difficult. Quibbling over all the start of something, the tone of it, or whatever it might be. But at least it gives me like a nice starting point in terms of what I can then work from, what I can tweak, what I can change. And as I've said in pretty much every video, it's about the first time it's never going to be perfect. It's not going to be right. There's always going to be some kind of, maybe misinterpretation or error in the work. So what I've got here is kind of like, it's taken out the key things that I put in my prompt and started, creating this, formal kind of letter, email, which is going to be sent out to parents and carers of year 11 ahead of this open evening I've created. So it's working its way through that. Obviously I can just come back to it when it's finished and just making amendments. So it's putting most of the information in there, but then I'll just go back and proofread that and make sure it's exactly what I want. But what you can do is like you can just play around with the kind of the tone of it as well. So your next follow-up prompt could be sort of like, well, okay, let's make the letter informal with humour. So let's just see how that kind of changes. So it's just finishing off there. And let's just go back to this now, just sort of like tweak it. So again, it's about that to and fro in. So you can see that, hey there, parents and carers. So it's that kind of down with the kids kind of vibe going on there. So it's completely changed the kind of tone of the letter. Workshop by a brainiac from the Brain and Learning Centre. I'm not sure if we've got one of those, but so you can see it's just changing that. And again, it's just going back and sort of saying, well, no, I want it to be more like this. Or you might just take parts of it, whatever. That might say, okay, let's go back to the formal tone and really I want to emphasise the importance of attending. So I can just I've tried a different version. It's not quite what I want, so I'm going to go back to the other one. I could just go back to the original one anyway and just and tweak that. But here I'm just getting it to change that for me and then just focus on really stressing the importance of attendance, and as it says there. So again, it's going to create that letter, which is probably quite similar to the first one. I'll just spend some time looking at that. Is it in the right area? Does it need much tweaking? Has it got it completely wrong? Have I checked is it UK spelling, etc.? So, but what I've got and what I'm trying to get across is it's a quick start. It's a kind of an accelerator that allows you to sort of like create something quite quickly and then spend time sort of like tweaking it and sort of like changing things within that to make sure it's perfect. But so again, it's about sort of like making things more efficient. It's trying to, maximise, the tools that we've got to do something for you and a kind of an assistant whilst you go off and do something else and then come back to it. And that can save a massive amount of time. What I could then do is say, okay, right now, write me a tweet. Tweet. So again, it'll just take that content and it will just start generating something. So it's content generation, it's about emails, it's about letters and in this case a tweet. But I want it to be something which is, you could apply it to anything really. You could apply this to anything that you put on social media or anything, content for school websites and so on. So there's a real accelerator, part to this, which I'm trying to get across. See there, so it's created my tweet. It's even got the hashtag preparation and endeavour GCSE 2024 in there as well, and I could use that. I might want to change some things in it. But again, it's about content creation, about using these tools to sort of like, get started, rather than having like a blank page and trying to think about how do I start. It kind of just gives you that framework and a starting point, which can save a massive amount of time.